Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and today we unfortunately have to talk about the Buffalo shooter because the live video of his horrific crime may need to go back online publicly, and that's thanks to Texas. Now, Tech Dirt, specifically the author Mike Masnick of Tech Dirt, prompted me on this one here because I thought he had a really interesting article on that, what I'm going to break down and paraphrase from him, as well as quote. But recently I did a video on Texas law, I want to say last Friday or so, and here's a quick recap. If you recall, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals basically voted 2-1 to uphold a Texas law that said if you're on social media and you believe that they have essentially either censored you in some way, shape, or form, or not let your things go viral in the way they should, called downranking, you can essentially sue them for violating your rights. Now, First Amendment lawyers basically, and judges and advocates and experts have all said that is absolutely ridiculous. A similar law in Florida was killed by the courts, in that vein, but here we are. This is now the law of the land in Texas. And so there you go. Now, on to the latest news as it relates to this, because this, quite frankly, is interesting and a little terrifying. And by now, you've no doubt heard that on this past Saturday, there was just this horrific shooting in Buffalo, New York that killed 10 people, wounding, I believe, 2 or 3 more. And from all the current evidence, the shooter, who is 18 years old, is a self-described white nationalist who basically published a long manifesto, about 180 pages or so if I recall, that basically repeated deeply racist propaganda like the replacement theory and other things. And so he basically drove to a town that was predominantly black, went to a supermarket that was predominantly visited by black patrons, and opened fire. He also streamed the shooting live on Twitch, that's the gaming live streaming platform, and apparently was communicating his plans via both Discord, the online communications and chat platform, as well as 4chan, the basically dark underpit of the internet. Now, Twitch quickly as they could, I should say, took this stream down. Discord is reportedly investigating this situation, and basically all of this is horrible. There's no doubt of that. But it's quite possible that Twitch's removal could violate this new Texas social media law. Now, in this situation, the only thing that could save basically Twitch and Discord might be that both of them have under 50 million average monthly users in the United States. And if you have less than 50 million users in the US, you may not trigger that law. But here's the thing, it's not entirely clear. This is another reason why the law is basically incoherent, because it's not even clear who's actually covered by this. Now, a year ago, Discord reported having 150 million monthly active users, though that's worldwide. And so the question becomes, how many of them are in the United States? If it's more than a third, they may fall under this Texas law. Twitch is basically about 140 million active users globally, but at least one report says that approximately 21% of Twitch's viewership is in the United States, which puts that at 44 million, under that 50 million cap. So if you recall, this Texas law, known as HB or House Bill 20, defines what a user is quite broadly, and also says once you have over 50 million users in a single month, you are then covered under this law and can be sued. So it's quite possible that both companies are covered, meaning international users could count in this count that Texas has. It's not clear. This law, as I mentioned in my last video, was purely created on the political side of this. It's not that logical. Now, focusing on Twitch, taking down the streamer's account may actually violate that Texas law. Remember, the law says that you cannot, quote unquote, censor based on viewpoint. And anyone in the state of Texas can bring a lawsuit now claiming that they were deprived of this particular content based on viewpoint. Now, some will argue that a live stream of a massive killing spree isn't about a viewpoint, but remember, this teenage shooter made it clear that he was doing this as part of his political views in what was the most bonkers manifesto ever, which you can read online if you know where to go. So, at the very least, there's a strong argument that any effort to take down his manifesto, if not the live stream itself, could be violating Texas law. Now, I have to quote Mike Masnick of Tech Dirt directly now, and I've been paraphrasing a good chunk of him, but listen to this quote directly because I think this is a really salient point. And just to underline that this is what the Texas legislature wanted, you may recall that we wrote about a series of amendments that were proposed when this law was being debated. And one of the amendments said that the law could not block the removal of content that, quote, directly or indirectly promotes or supports any international or domestic terrorist group or any international or domestic terrorist acts, and the legislature voted it down. So, yes, the Texas legislature made it abundantly clear that this law should block the ability of websites to remove such content. Now, due to the way the law is structured, it's not just those who were moderated that can sue, but anyone that feels that their, quote, ability to receive the expression of another person, unquote, was denied over the viewpoint of the speaker. So it appears that, let's say, a white nationalist or extremist in Texas could right now sue Twitch and demand that they reinstate the video, and Twitch would have to defend those reasons for removing the video and convince a court it wasn't over viewpoints, or that Twitch still has less than 50 million monthly viewers, but again, that is not clear. And so here we are. Somebody that, let's say, completely agrees with this and says, yes, I'm 100% for that shooter. That shooter is, I don't know, doing the work of white nationalists, whatever, could literally go in Texas court if that individual was in Texas and say, essentially, because you censored that person, I am censored from seeing that viewpoint. This is what we're talking about. Now, on top of this, Twitch finds itself, as well as Discord, in a predicament because the flip side of this possible serious issue is New York Governor Hochul saying that Twitch didn't move fast enough in taking this video down and should therefore be liable for having this up for the length that it was, which was actually a fairly short amount of time for a social media platform, or a live streaming platform, I should say. Governor Hochul, I think, does not understand just how hard it is for a massive platform with 140 million plus users to basically find that needle in a massive haystack as this person is live streaming. We had the same problem with the Christchurch shooter that live streamed this on Facebook, and Facebook took a couple of hours to, I believe, find it and shut it down, and then attempt to stop it from going viral for those that made screen grabs, copies, whatever, in support of that monster. So it's possible that Twitch could face legal fights in New York for being too slow to take down this video, and also in Texas for taking the video down. So this is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely nuts. And I'm going to just end this, that's it, with a quote directly from author Mike Masnick, because I think he kind of nails this, and I quote, "It would be nice if politicians on both sides of the political aisle remembered how the First Amendment actually works and focus the blame on those actually responsible, not the social media tools that are used to communicate." And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, where apparently you can sue them if you don't like something in Texas. Same with YouTube, where you should follow and subscribe. Please like this video. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please stay private. Thanks, everyone.